It's March 30th, 2025, and you're watching Cover News. On March 13th, 2025, a document was filed in a class action lawsuit in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, the Eastern Division. This document is in a class action lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. The document claims, amongst other things, that the department is just rounding people up, grabbing them without any kind of due process, any kind of evidence. There's no probable cause, no nothing, and they don't have any warrants for doing what they're doing. They're just grabbing people off the street and carting them off to an ICE detention center and figuring out whether or not they are here legally or illegally. And I just want to read the account of one of the people in this document. Julio Noriega is a 54-year-old, was born in Chicago, and is a U.S. citizen. On January 31st, 2025, he was walking near the corner of Carmack Road and Harlem Avenue in Berwyn, Illinois, handing out his resume to local businesses, just looking for a job. As he walked out of the Jiffy Lube, he was approached by an ICE officer who grabbed and handcuffed him and put him into a van without an opportunity to explain his citizenship. So just grabs somebody from the street and throws him in the back of the van, no questions asked. The officer drove Julio and others around for more than an hour before bringing him to an ICE processing center where he remained, still handcuffed, for several more hours. All the while, Julio had a wallet containing identification that ICE had confiscated. They have his wallet. They could look at his wallet and see very clear as day that this person is a U.S. citizen. He has identification. But no, they don't decide to do that. The officers never showed Julio a warrant, and they did not ask him questions to ascertain whether he was a non-citizen or a flight risk. After about 10 hours, ICE officers reviewed the contents of Julio's wallet, so they finally look at his wallet 10 hours later and realize, oh, we made a mistake. This person is a U.S. citizen. Realized that he was a U.S. citizen and released him with no money and no paperwork. So they just pretty much confiscated his stuff, released him out into the wild. Whoops, sorry, not going to take you back. You're an hour away. Go figure that out. Our bad. Julio reports that he was released with others, presumably others that ICE lacked basis for an arrest. So basically, we have this man looking for a job, handing out his resume. And an ICE officer driving by says, "That guy looks like he doesn't belong here. I don't think he belongs here." And gets out of his car, grabs him, handcuffs him, throws him into the back of the car, no questions asked, and just drives you to some government ICE facility, basically a black site. If it's not, a black site, right? Like we know the difference here, but for all intents and purposes, this is what's going on through this person's mind, probably, right? Like if you're grabbed by a police officer, no questions asked, thrown into the back of a van, where is your mind going to go in that situation? Not good. And these are the things that are going on, right? These are the stories that need to be told because nobody's telling them. People are telling them, but it needs to get out there, right? It's really depressing to think that this is what people wanted, right? More than, I think it's like 49% of the country, not the country, of voters voted for Donald Trump, and a lot of them did want these mass deportations. But this is a stripping away of our rights, taking away our freedoms in a way that is just wholly unacceptable. I don't want to be enjoying my day just walking down the street and somebody thinks that I don't belong and puts me into the back of a car. No questions asked. You need probable cause for these things. You need some sort of evidence. You need to conduct an investigation on the spot. These people don't care because they know that at the highest levels, the government has their back on this, and the citizenry is just suffering because of it. This has been Cover News. Like, subscribe, comment, and stay tuned for more.